We're back live this week. I've been out on my Caribbean cruise. I got my color back. I'm all relaxed, rested, ready to go back with the live episode tonight of Proper Royals Live. To top it all off, we got Tommy Gil from Inky Clouds. Thank you for being here. Let's get to it. What's happening, everybody? I hope that you are doing well tonight. I don't know why I adjust this thing. It should be exactly the same every week, and every week I have to adjust it a little bit. There we go. Sounding good now. I hope that you all are doing well. As I mentioned, I am back. Thank you all for joining last week's episode, which was actually a pre-recorded episode. One of the few, like maybe 2 or 3 ever that I've done in almost 5 years of this show now. So thanks to Shane for coming to hang out and doing a little pre-recorded episode so that we could keep the streak going of Tuesday nights that you guys come to enjoy. Thanks for the support. First vacation since June of 2023. I need to get better at vacations is what I need. That was a nice little trip. I went to Dominican Republic. I went to the Virgin Islands. I went to the Bahamas, and a night in Miami as well. And then a couple long plane flights. So I am back. Like I say, thanks to Shane. Special shout out to a local breeder. He's not on any social media or anything, but I don't know, maybe watch the show. But there's a guy named Bo that helps me out tremendously. He covered the shop, covered the car wash while I wasn't here, made life possible for me to go enjoy a really nice vacation with my family. So I'm thankful for that. Back to work though. So we got Tommy Gil tonight from Inky Clouds on the show. I'll bring her on in just a moment and tell you a little bit about her. The little bit that I know, I'm excited to I'm ashamed. I should have connected with her a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't, but I'm excited to have her on tonight. Let me see here. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, I believe that's April 12th. I'll be vending in St. Paul at the Minnesota Fairgrounds with the Cold-Blooded Expo show. I'll be vending that show. Always a fun, big, that's actually a really great show. It's probably, I don't know. Anyway, it's a good show. It's worth being there. If you're in the area or the region, come check that out. Cold-Blooded Expos at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, April 12th, one-day show. I'll be vending there. Tomorrow night, I'll be on Chris Eaton's show, The Fat Man Nation. I say that hesitantly. I know that's the name of the channel. Does the show have a different name? Snakes and the Fat Man? You know what I'm talking about. Go check out Chris's show tomorrow night. I'll be the guest on there. Tomorrow night, there is a 15 Minutes of Lame contestant on there as well. I don't know what we're getting into. I told Chris I'm not going to worry about what the show is because I got enough of my own show to worry about. So I'm going to go hang out with Chris. It's always a good time. That's tomorrow night. That's a busy week that I'm jumped into getting back here. And I'm working on getting the website and Morph Market updated after Tinley heading right into vacation and some new hatchlings and whatnot. I got a lot of work online to do. So I will be doing that this week, and I'll be catching up on Instagram and reposting all kinds of cool stuff. And that's kind of what I got going on. Let me think what else. Yeah, that'd be it. Thanks, everybody. Like I say, I don't know why I'm saying thanks for letting me go on vacation, but you know what I mean? It's nice to come back and have an audience and get a little break. And like I say, thanks to Shane and those of y'all that tuned in to last week's episode. I started hearing about Tommy from her posts on Instagram, the work that she was doing. And then I have to say there's something that is just intriguing about really well thought out, confident points of view. I'm intrigued by it. I don't know if I agree with everything or not, but I'm intrigued by it. Like I say, the thoughtfulness that goes into a strong conviction, I guess is the way to put it. So I'm intrigued by that. And I said, you know what? I want to see if she'll come on the show. And sure enough, she was nice enough to say yes and to come hang out. So, there's nothing more awkward than talking about somebody while they're listening to you in the green room when you talk about them. So instead of that, why don't you help me welcome for the very first time to the proper royal stage from Inky Clouds, Tommy Gil. How are you tonight, Tommy?
Hey, doing all right. Can't complain.
Good.
I'm glad that you went on vacation, because I was like, when we first had the split screen, when I first came on, I'm like, wow, I look really pale, but now I know why.
Yeah, I burnt. I got so burnt.
I need a filter. I look like a vampire next to you. I hate this.
For once in 3 years of living in Minnesota, I don't look like I live in Minnesota for just like a week or two. It'll all fade away. We have snow coming tomorrow. So yeah, that Caribbean tropical sun is no joke. I know that we all learn it in school, the angle and the sun and all that, but I think the hottest temperature it was 77, and it cooked me. It was so hot. It was, I
really?
know. I lived in Florida. I feel like crazy even saying that out loud. I'm from Florida. I spent 30 years of my life in Florida.
77 is like room temperature.
I know, exactly, but it was it was hot. Anyhow, we're not to focus on the physics of the solar. Anyway, thank you for being here. Like I say, I regret I didn't reach out to you sooner, but I'm excited to hang out, and you are confident in your statements, as everybody should be, but that tells me that you've thought a lot about it, and you bring a lot to the table. I should tell the audience, instead of rehashing like somebody's history that they've recently gone through on a really good podcast, check out Reptiles Unplugged for a little bit of a deep dive in Tommy's background. But like, what's like the quick elevator pitch, not like I say, not the full like 30 years thing, but like, what's the quick snapshot?
I don't know. What is the quick snapshot?
Okay.
I don't know. I've been doing ball pythons for like 7 years, I think, maybe 8 years. Been doing reptiles forever. I don't know. I'm just here for the fun of it. I enjoy the genetics, and I want to see things that I haven't seen before. So here I am.
And you bring venomous background, and I mean, I appreciate your brevity there, but I mean, you've been at this, what, 30 years at least with reptiles?
I've been at reptiles. Like, if we really want to go back to it, I've been doing reptiles since I was 2, but I only really count since I was like 13, because I feel like that's when I like literally did it for myself, without my parents' help. But yeah, I've had reptiles my entire life, whether I was catching them and keeping them in my parents' house, or breeding them. Like, I started breeding when I was 13, and I'm almost 50. I'll be 50 this year, I believe. I'll be 49 or 50 this year. One or the other. I don't know. It's a number.
Stop counting. Yeah, who cares at this point? Like, yeah, just don't worry about it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not dead yet, so we're good.
That's right. Still stuck with me, What were you breeding at 13 though?
I was breeding colubrids. I had black pines, some Okatee corn snakes, and eastern not cottonmouths, copperheads.
Oh, that's what your parents think, you breeding some copperheads.
Well, my mom was always very supportive. My dad just kind of like stayed in the background. I had a lot of friends that had venomous and stuff like that were older than me, that were kind of mentoring me. I did education with a guy who did local venomous in some of the parks, to kind of educate people that were at the parks about what they might see in the parks. So I got used to handling venomous there. I volunteered my time there, and I volunteered time educating for probably 13 years or so on like not only on venomous, but on just snakes in general, because I feel like, once somebody has that connection and they see that it's not as scary, both the parents and the children, you can save some animals, from untimely deaths.
Definitely. Yeah. And was that there in Virginia, or where was that at?
Here in Virginia. Yeah, I've been in Virginia since I was 7. Prior to that, I did live in Florida, and that's where I had such like easy access to reptiles when I was very young. I had a Florida box turtle. I got that for being potty trained. I still have him. So I got him when I was
Wow.
2 and I still have him. Yep. His name
That's a
is
great
DeLuna.
story.
He's named after the DeLuna Festival in Florida. Um, and I had, horned toads. I had a Knowles, of course. My mom would take me to the store and I'd have like a Knowles in my hair. Um, so
Did you ever
my
did
mom
you
was
ever get
really
them to
cool
bite
about it.
did you ever get them to bite your ears and like hang like earrings? Like I remember doing
No,
that.
they would just kind of hang out with me because they were kind of like tamed down from being handled and stuff. The only thing that ever bit me when I was very young was my parents got me a hermit crab and I tried to kiss it. So
Oh,
I had to
okay.
hold my face under the faucet for a while to get it to let loose.
We used to I grew up in Florida too. We used to get this probably isn't like a great thing, but we used to get them and we would catch the anoles and get them to bite our earlobes and we would walk around. They would
Yeah,
just
and do
hold
the
on.
little
They wouldn't like it.
earrings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they would be little lizard earrings. And then at some
they're
point,
like little
you know,
bulldogs, man. Yeah,
yeah.
for
Uh,
sure.
bef- Before I get too far, one question or one topic that didn't come up on that episode with Shane, I'm sure you talked about it before in other places, but
Hmm.
I'm curious. I always like to, I don't know if I just, if I'm curious about something I ask, where does the Inky Clouds name come from? What is that? What is that? What does it mean to you?
It's
why name
such
your
a
brand that?
strange thing. So when I first started doing ball pythons, when I first got back in to non-venomous, it was ball pythons, and I got some dark morphs, and my goal was to make super mahogany pieds. That was my first deal, and really like dark stuff, and I really like storms and like the part where you're like standing and there's like sunshine and you're in the sunshine, but like you see this like ominous storm and like it's windy and kind of crisp. But that's like my favorite thing ever. So that's
Yeah.
what it's about.
Very cool. So did you notice the song that I put to the thumbnail post on
Riders on the
Instagram?
Storm. Yep.
Yeah. I
Yep.
was like, all right, wait, I'm going to take a stab at this here. Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I got it.
Well,
Yep.
cool. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
You
No
talked,
problem.
I don't know anywhere that I'm misstating something, please correct me. But
No
I hear
problem. I can do that.
that's what I've heard. That's what I've come to understand, it makes communication so much easier, doesn't it? Rather than just dancing
You
around
would
stuff.
think, but not everybody likes that. And it's like not only in reptiles, but it's like in life in general. And so I gotta be me. So we are where we are, and I'm always gonna just speak my mind. And sometimes it bites me in the ass, but I'll always own up to it if I think I was wrong and afterwards too. So
The only time it bothers me is if I think somebody has bad intentions. That's a different story. Otherwise,
true,
like,
true. Yep. Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
tell me. And that, and
Mm-hmm.
I ran restaurants for almost 30 years. Like at some point you just got to cut down and here's what I need. Can we
That's
get this done? I like this. I don't like this.
that's
Let's move on.
yeah. I try to tell everybody my tagline is I'm not nice, but I'm kind.
That's it. That's cool. There's no problem with that. Like I say, I
Yeah.
think it makes the communication easier, but I know what you mean. Other people don't.
Agree. Mhm.
So I think I've heard you to understood you to say, or that you're passionate about, at least for yourself, and maybe you recommend it to other people, but to pick a lane, this idea of having a lane or a focus, and um, what in your mind, what constitutes a lane? There's so many combinations that we in the world of ball pythons that we could go for, and some lanes are really wide, some lanes are really narrow. What for you? Like what makes you pick or be satisfied that you've decided on a lane?
So honestly, for me, I mean, I do have a lot of different projects going, but all of my projects can be intermixed. So I'm not like
Mhm.
stuck with like, oh, I pair a girl once and I can't use her again next year. Or, like this male's only good for this one female or anything like that. I think that I think that that's important, to be able to utilize your collection in different ways, and because otherwise it really limits your vision, um, on, what you can do in the future. At least for me personally, like I don't want to be like, I'm making lavender G stripe clowns with three incomplete dominants, and these are the incomplete dominants, and I have these 10 girls who are going to do that. So, you know, I think that maybe like I'm not a hyper focused lane person as much as everybody has a place, and they also can be used other places, I guess. So,
When you say it's limiting, if people don't do that, is that from a financial standpoint? Is it? I mean, is it? I mean, I guess if you don't do that, you're always going to be buying something the next year. Is that sort of the angle in
yeah, I
that?
mean, I'm not, yeah, I mean, financially, it's not really, I mean, I wish I could say that I was financially smart about things like that, but I'm really not. If I want something, I get it. But, but for me, I think it's more limiting for my, like in my mind's eye limiting. Like if I have a girl and the only thing I can use it for is duh, I don't like get like ideas. I just kind of like, okay, well, this is what we're doing. And I like to be able to go like, hey, what is a tri-stripe monsoon lavender, going to look like? You
Hmm.
know?
I do know.
So
To me, to me, that's still the most fun part of everything. I mean, I've turned this
100%.
into a, yeah, I mean, I've turned this into a job. I've turned it into, it sometimes it's not fun to clean poo all day long or keep up the rodent room because you got to feed this monster that you created. It's a wonderful
Hmm.
monster and it's fun. And what I find that the people and some of the community and the interactions I really enjoy as well. But a lot of the fun is just standing there thinking through possibilities sometimes, like that moment of awe or the possibilities and the excitement. I was just thinking last night, like I updated my, not my breeding plan, but where all the girls are with the follicles and when the next rotation of pairing is going to take place. Just reading my pairings list, I'm just like, I got to close this
Yeah.
laptop and go to bed. I'll stare at this all night, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely exciting, and I definitely make my pairings, but that doesn't mean that a boy doesn't come up from, my holdbacks that gets ready and I don't change my mind, you know.
Right.
So it happens. If
And,
especially if something's extremely exciting.
well, that's the thing that circumstances change like that. I guess
Mhm.
that's one of the roots of the question too, or my thought process too. Circumstances change so much. So we hear, I'm not saying you, I hear from, we've heard it all through the hobby or the trade or the business, whatever people want to call it, have a plan. And I'm like, well, what if something better comes? Are you going to be so married to your plan? No, you got to take, that's like life,
That's
right?
what I'm
Like if something
saying.
better comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you could have a female come ready earlier than you thought she was going to, or you could have a male come in earlier. And if it's going to allow me to make a visual that, is going to push my project, or or a het that I'm like, you know what, that's going to be really cool. And I don't have anything for that. Damn right, I'm going to change my pairings. Like, if she's not
Yeah.
about to go, I'm going to change it up.
Yeah. Well, and then there's always the negative stuff too. A male goes off of dangerously goes off of food.
Yes.
Most of them go
Yeah,
off,
that's
but
not
it gets him.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets himself in a dangerous position, or like you say, the timing doesn't work out. You thought this female was going to be a month and a half down the road when the male would have a little more availability, and you're like, yeah, I got to come
Mhm.
up with something else, So
Yeah, be like,
um,
"Sorry, his dance card's full." Yeah.
that's right. I mean, yeah, because I think I have heard other opinions, but I disagree with it. But I do think that the male should live through a breeding season like that. That's just is kind of a baseline for me, and something that I
That's
think a whole
almost a
lot about,
ridiculous statement to have to make.
isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
So
but that's dumb to even have to say. That anybody would think that they should breed something into the ground is crazy talk to me.
yeah, and I don't think that people necessarily do it purposefully, but they also are willing to ignore the signs when, hey, this thing is not eating, which that happens. Losing a whole lot of
Yeah.
weight. Why don't you pay
Yeah, but
attention
I
to what
mean
the animal's
the
telling you?
when he stops eating, you stop freaking pairing him and you keep him away from the females as far as you can until he's eating again and he's got his weight back up and then you pair him again. That's fine.
And then they live, and it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
Right.
They live. They
Yeah, it's
live
a good
through reproduction.
it doesn't have to be the
Oh my
Atlantic salmon
god.
model. Uh,
Literally, yeah.
but I mean, the rabbit hole I got down was that there were changes, and I hear so many people get so rigid on things, and I'm like, life, business, just going out to dinner. I don't know. People run out of the tuna roll. You're gonna have to get the sashimi sometimes. Like something's going to
It has to
change, and
happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you gotta roll with those things. So
Not only that, like sometimes you're just laying in bed in the middle of the night and nothing's changed, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's so much of a better idea. Why didn't I think of that?" And you get your phone and you change the pairing of your phone and you go to sleep. It's fine.
what genes, genetics, projects, what gets you excited? I don't worry about any parameters.
Oh.
What gets you excited when it comes to ball pythons?
Um, like the stuff I'm working right now, like cryptic, paint, monsoon. Um, I'm working other things. I'm working some lavender stuff. Most of my lavender stuff is tied into my monsoon project right now. I have some candy stuff. I love tri-stripe stuff. I'd really like to see a lot more tri-stripe stuff. One of my favorite animals from last season was a desert ghost, a pastel desert ghost tri-stripe, and that thing's phenomenal. And I will never get sick of looking at it because that was like the second or third thing I wanted to make. Like it was like, and it took me raising up the animals, which however many years that was, 2 or 3 years, and then
Yeah.
3 years of pairings before I got my double visual.
Congratulations. I saw your post
Thank
on it,
you.
on how happy you were. I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
Oh
it
my
was a
god,
really,
so happy. So
it's a really,
happy.
it's so nice to see those come to fruition rather than just, there's nothing wrong with making good investments. Like you said, if you see something you like, go get it. But there's also the flip side of seeing through a project. And I don't know, I don't ever think personally they come to completion, but to the next benchmark that you've been really excited to hit.
Oh yeah, there's definitely more stuff because that's a female, so I definitely have males coming up. But like, think about it this way: had I killed my male in the first season, those other two seasons wouldn't have happened.
Right. You're preaching to the choir on that. I'm that's not like, it doesn't make, I don't know. Like I say, it doesn't make sense to me, but,
Yeah.
we agree with each other. Talk
Mhm.
about monsoon and lavender. What led you down that path? What excites you about that? Is it the
Some
contrast?
dark
Is it the
shades. Yeah,
colors?
the contrast. So we all know what like a blackhead lavender looks like, and I'm pairing for blackhead, calico, lavender, and with the possibility of monsoon and pied in it also.
Excellent. You said the possibility of monsoon and pied. Obviously, I know that
Hmm.
you're well tied into the world of ball pythons, and that there's that there is shed testing. Why would you choose to leave that
Meaning
unknown?
possible. It's just like it's like they're head to heads. Head
Gotcha.
to heads are that's what I'm saying. Possibility that way, not possibility. They're definitely heads. 100%
Okay,
heads.
gotcha. Okay, so
But the possibility of the
possible
pairing
results.
producing, yes. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, no, no. That's why I ask and
No, well,
clarify
I'm
things.
sorry.
So that's good. So I'm sorry, I got lost on there.
No
Monsoon,
worries.
monsoon lavender with the possibility of pied, and what else?
Blackhead and calico.
Gotcha. No other recessives though.
Um, monsoon, monsoon, lavender, pie. Yeah, that's all the recessives in that one.
That should
I
do. I
also
think it's
have
pretty good.
yeah, that I think that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. I also have monsoon monarch pied. I have monsoon candy. I have monsoon. Oh, what else? I don't know. I have monsoon is so many different things with, and then they all have incomplete dominance. Oh, monsoon hypo, monsoon, TSK, monsoon hypopide. I don't know. That's some of them.
What attracts you to the pied and monsoon combination?
It just kind of came along with the pairings. I like
Yeah.
monsoon pied. I like monsoon pied. I've did most of the stuff we've seen with has had pastel, which hasn't been the best example, but I've definitely seen some higher, like higher or lower white monsoon
Mm-hmm.
pieds, and they look really good. And I like piebald. I'm not a piebald hater. I'm doing some like really dark, like super blackhead, super mahogany pied stuff. You know, I like pied stuff.
I I still love pieds. I have this fight with pieds because I really love patterns and contrast. And pied on the one hand has more contrast than any of them because you get the pure white
Mm-hmm.
with the pattern. But then within the colored areas, the pattern kind of gets this, sort of tie dye kind of not mush, but less distinction.
Mon-
And so I wrestle with it, and it's like I want to see something that'll break through that, or I want to, or express a lot more in there. And so I still seek it
mm-hmm.
out, and I work a lot with pied. I like pied, but I
Yeah.
always like asking like what the attraction or the end game is. Now, you were
Yeah.
when you sorry, go ahead. I should leave
No,
space
you're
for
fine.
conversation.
You're good.
Well, I was going to say the super mahogany pied stuff that you were talking about, or bringing blackhead into it. That part I
Mm-hmm.
really get because I love those rich dark colors, and then they add even more to the contrast, and it's like even more of a striking animal. But
Mm-hmm.
then the pattern disrupting genes, like monsoon, is probably one of the best examples of that. I'm not that familiar with first, I'm not that familiar with what it looks like in pied. Second, I worry that would get lost in sort of the pied.
It's actually not. So monsoon pieds look like monsoon with white splashed on it.
Yeah, they keep the monsoon
Mm-hmm.
pattern. It's like
They
goes
do.
behind like a reverse
Yep.
shadow.
And then
Yeah.
even the monsoon head is there, and the monsoon speckling and all that. It's all there.
Then I'm now I'm more intrigued.
Now you're on board.
I'm like, okay, maybe I will.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good.
Very cool. Where do you want to see that go? So you got monsoon pied. What other incomplete dominance or non-recessives, as I like to call them, would you like to see in those?
In monsoon pied.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I have a breeder blackhead triplet lavender monsoon pied. So, and blackhead brings so much into pied, like it brings so much pattern into it. So, I think it's going to look amazing in the monsoon pied. I mean, we haven't even seen a blackhead monsoon yet. So, even if I make a calico blackhead monsoon or even just a blackhead monsoon, I'll be happy. That's the kind of cool thing about the monsoon project for me right now is like I haven't seen anything really. I mean, we've seen some things, but
Right.
like really tip of the iceberg kind of stuff. So like I
Very
have
tip.
like all these options. I have all these options in my pairings, but I'm like, I don't even care if I get, 46 incomplete dominance. Like give me just like the blackhead monsoon. I'll be
Yeah.
happy. Like,
I just had a question, and then I was enjoying your commentary, and I
sorry.
forgot it. No, it's great. That's a good sign. Uh, I've forgotten now.
Yeah.
So some of that leads back though to what you were just saying. Some of that leads back to my question about the lane, because like monsoon is relatively new, and there's such
Mhm.
opportunity with it. Like we were talking about the tip of the iceberg. When I see a new gene or a gene that people passed by along the way, I'll use gravel, for example. I love super
Yeah.
gravel. If you ask me what I want my lane to be, I love super
Yeah.
gravel. And people are like, that's
Super
it. And I'm
gravel's
like,
amazing.
yeah. And I'm like, that's it. We haven't done anything
That
with
what do
it
you mean
yet.
that's it? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like it's
Right.
amazing. Like what do you
And it
mean
can
that's it?
go, and it can go in, well, because I think people get lost in these word salads that they want to be able to, talk for 9 seconds naming one animal. And I'm like, how cool, like, And I'm like, and you talked about your projects being able to be sort of interchangeable or used multiple times. And I'm like, I could put it in Axanthic. I could put it in clown. I could put it in ultramel. I could put it in ultramel clown. I could put it.
I can't even imagine like how beautiful that animal would be. Yeah, like that's the thing is that I would say, you know, a lot of people don't try to even envision, like they don't like take their animals and try to like say like, okay, if I do this to this, because like a lot of this stuff like that I'm making, I've had to make my own hats. So like I don't have a lot of really cool shit to put on my Instagram. Like I'm like, hey, look, and people might scroll past it, but like because it looks like a whatever, a 2 gene animal, but like it's like a building block for like a 6-year project, you know, that I'm very proud of, you know. So I think that it's easier to go with the known recipes and maybe add one thing to it, you know, like, oh, I made a Pompeii, but it's now a stranger Pompeii. I made a Pompeii, but now it's a Wookiee Pompeii. You know what I'm saying? Like people tend to gravitate towards those known recipes. And to me, like until I've kind of see my recipes to fruition, it's difficult or more difficult, I think, for the kind of like pieces of my projects that I don't need to find homes because people don't know what to do with them.
Right. Yeah. There's, yeah. It's, yeah. Trying to explain a firefly, yeah, triple het hypoaxanthic pied to somebody, and they're like, I'm like, you got to understand the possibilities of this animal, and they're like, yeah, that one looks cool, and I'm like, okay,
so they're like, oh, so it's a pied. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, like, what are you talking about? I'm so excited about this animal, but you know, I mean, that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't post that I'm excited about, and some of it is selfishly wanting to have the time to work my project on my own and not have someone to be like, oh, well, I'm going to do that too. You know, not that nobody else is going to have the same idea as me because there's only so many genetics. But at the same time, I'm not trying to scream it from the mountaintops, everything that I'm doing. Because then I want to be able to be like, hey, look at this. And everybody be like, wow. And I'll be like, look, I have yearlings available. You could make it too. Kind of.
Well, so that's an interesting topic. For what would you say your ball python goals are? As from is it a? I know it's a combination of both, but where sort of on the spectrum of like business and hobby is it? Because that was a very business oriented detail at that moment, just that piece.
Yeah, I think it is. I think monetarily it's a hobby.
There you go. I'm laughing out of empathy, extreme empathy.
Yeah, exactly. Monetarily, it's a hobby. You know, I don't think I have any like illusions of grandeur that I'm going to do this full time. And honestly, I don't know that I want to do it full time because a lot of the things in my life that I've loved to do, I've decided to make it into my livelihood. And it's gone great and I've enjoyed it. But then it kind of at some point sucks the life out of like what I loved about that thing at some point. And then I just don't do it anymore. And then I do something different. I'm like a serial entrepreneur, like every like 10 years. No, well, my gym was 15 years. My current stuff I'm doing, not the snakes, has been like, I don't know. I think like 7 to 10 years. I don't know. I'm really terrible with time frames. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, okay, well, next thing now.
I read, and this is just one of these where the conversation goes. Maybe I saw it on Instagram or maybe I read it on a vacation or whatever. It was this theory that said, do something until you hit a wall of a problem, like solve and hit a problem. And instead of going nuts working at that, move to something else that you really like and work at that until you hit a wall. and do
Mhm.
that again on a third time. And when you hit that third wall, go back to the first one. And it wasn't talking about business and careers, but it was talking about, instead of getting pissed off at the thing that you're really excited to work at, go work at something else. And in the background, let your mind relax and figure some things out while you're working at something else. And I thought that was a really neat thing. And then I said to myself, is that what I'm doing with, like you say, a serial entrepreneur? This is new to me, but like, I consult, I raise these ball pythons, I farm these rodents, I own a car wash, and every now and again I get music gigs. And I'm like, I thought to myself, I was like, maybe that's just what I'm doing. I'm just doing stuff till I burn out just a little bit, or hit something that where I'm like, I'm less inspired, but let me focus on this thing. And then by the time I get back around to it, I'm just pumped. Now, obviously you can't abandon live animals. I'm not saying to step aside
Oh, no,
completely on that.
absolutely not, and I've kind of
Yeah.
solved the problem of burnout with, like, genetics and everything, because don't get me wrong, like, I love the genetics thing, but, like, it will eat a hole in my head. Like, I have the kind of brain where I will literally get on Morph Market and I will, like, open, like, whatever, Wookie, whatever it is, and then I will literally sort all, and then I will sort from lowest amount of traits down,
Yeah.
and I will look at every single fucking one of those things. I will just look at it, 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 and I like can't stop. Like I've been up at night, like overnight. My husband's like, "What are you doing? Are you still up looking at snakes?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he just goes back to sleep. You know,
I do
he
know.
yeah. So I've kind of solved that problem by going back to my roots, not my venomous roots, but back to some simpler things that I'm working, that I'm really enjoying. Just a couple smaller side projects that don't really have a lot of genetic options. It's just like, make, if you want to breed these, you make more of these. So I'm just raising those up and enjoying the animals for the time. But when I do raise them up, like it's basically just going to be like, all right, you have a this and you can get another one of this and then you make more of this. There's no like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to be had.
Um,
So I think that just having that has been helpful.
from a, I'm sorry, from a simplifying it down and finding joy in a
Yeah.
simpler combination. Are there any that you
I,
could share, or that are they kind of your
Yeah,
still your private
they're
spot?
not they're not ball pythons. They're actually I've gone back to doing some dry mark on. So I have an Eastern Indigo. I have some Yucatan blacktails. And I have a Guerrero Indigo, and then I also got some Dwarf Burmese.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot. I mean, I can only, I say I can only, I have only allowed myself to focus on ball pythons because I know how I'm sitting in a room all around me. You can't, like, this is the one place you can't see it. I'm sitting in a room with probably 25 guitars from the last 50 years because I go bonkers when I get into new stuff. So I won't let
Hmm.
myself get into new species and that kind of thing because I'm afraid of just losing
Oh,
focus.
I've kept so many species over the years that it really doesn't matter. Like it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Um, why? Okay, let me ask you this. This comes on good on the heels of what you were just talking about. Why ball pythons then? What was, so you there was a
The
venomous
genetics,
background. The genetics are the
Gen-
thing.
100% the genetics, 100% the ability to make shit that nobody's ever seen before. And like, it just drove me like, so, I am like, I'm autistic and I have ADHD. So that can drive me into very obsessive type things. And so and I also like, because I have ADHD, I'm dopamine addicted. So
Mhm.
having all the different options and being able to see all
Yeah.
the things and always seeing new things has been
Right.
very rewarding to my brain. So it I think that that's really what it was. Just like, holy shit, there's like just literally unending things I can do.
And it is literally, it is it if you put in let's say there's 200 ball python identified genes. I know it's probably more than that. Let's say it's 200. If you put in 200 factorial into Google and say, what is that? Which is every possible combination. Google's like, it's infinity. Google doesn't even try and answer it. Google's like,
literally, it's like, whatever. Yeah. It just keeps going, whatever.
it doesn't end.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I'm blown away too by like how deep that well is of opportunity. On the flip side, it makes me roll my eyes when people are like, world's first. And I'm like, everybody should have world's first. Not that I have any to claim that I, so there we go.
Like people don't know what's in everybody else's racks, you know, like people can write world's first and somebody could have made that 10 years ago and just never posted it. The internet is not like the end all be all of information.
No, I have things that I suspect are, but you know, what's funny too, is I bet that there's world firsts that look just like people would just walk by because of what you were talking about earlier, recessive het combinations that have never existed that will create such an opportunity, you know?
Exactly. They're just like, oh yeah, that's great. You know? Yeah. I'm sure there's a ton of world's first. I'm sure I have world's first in here, but I'm not going to be like world's first, you know, freaking whatever this thing is, Orange Dream Fire. I don't know what else it is. Something else. It's triple het monsoon clown. No, quad het monsoon clown pied hypo. Like, I'm not going to post that.
And I don't mean to like piss on people. Like their excitement.
I get it. You know, yeah, but it's okay to be excited, but like sometimes it's just not true, and that's all right.
Well, if it's totally not true, then I'm all for whatever comes their way. But like, I'm excited when people hit a dream or a goal or a benchmark. So I'm not knocking that. If it happens to be a world's first, be a world's first, you know.
Right.
But yeah. So I'm not just trying to be totally snarky about things in that manner.
It's okay if you want to be snarky.
Well, here's the thing. I still have this imposter syndrome, like 6 years now after this, you know, like, and I love my own curiosity. So I can't be like snarky and judgmental and curious in the same breath. I think that would make me a hypocrite, but now I'm thinking about it. Maybe I just need to turn over a new leaf and just do both, you know?
Yeah.
Do you find, and you brought this up, I mean this in all the most respectful way, and again, curiosity way, do you find any effects of autism or ADHD to be a superpower for you? Or what is it? What does it give you that other people don't have?
I don't know, because I don't know what other people have. I have a hard time understanding what that's like, honestly.
Yeah.
I can say that it allows me, because I do such like intense like study on different genetics, it allows me to identify things, I think, maybe somewhat better than other people that I've talked to, like identify combos. That doesn't mean that I'm the end all be all, so nobody get that twisted. But I feel like because I have that obsessive part, that I just literally have poured over. Like I said, like I'll spend a whole 8-hour night looking at every single combo of like one genetic. And then like, sometimes I just start at the beginning and I just start looking and trying to ID things without like looking at what it is. Like even like things that are het, and I know visual hets aren't always a thing because I am completely on that train, but sometimes I'll try to be like, oh, this looks like it's het clown, it was a het clown in the pairing and it's just not listed. Things like that. It's rewarding to me in my brain. But yeah, I think that would be one of the things. And maybe just, you know, maybe it allows me a little bit more vision because I have spent so much time looking at it that I can really kind of like visualize what I'm after.
Yeah, when you were talking about that, I spent in my restaurant career, I spent quite a chunk of my career focusing on wine and becoming a sommelier, level 2 certified sommelier, all the swirly tasting, but it was all blind tasting, and it became a deductive method where basically you would start with all the possibilities in the world. Immediately, generally, you see It's red or white. Okay, let's eliminate
Hmm.
that. Now, is
Yeah.
it, is it full bodied? Is it medium bodied? Is it light bodied? Does it smell like dark fruit, red fruit, blue fruit? And from those answers, you could start to do so. I get chills talking about it. And ball pythons made that like ignited that fun thing for me. And so when you're
Yeah.
talking about, I mean, what you just described is essentially blind tasting, where you're looking at the animal. It's not literally blind, because obviously it's funny.
Yeah.
We called it
But
blind tasting.
I understand the analogy. Yeah.
You're looking at it without the documentation and you're drawing a conclusion. And I did that. I mean, that was my study I mean, I would just take the sample bottles from restaurants that they had like a little bit left in the wine by the glass, and like come home with 11 or 12 like partial bottles and just taste, spit, identify, taste, spit, identify over and over and over again. And
Hmm.
ball pythons kind of get me going that way, because wine is like, you can grow a particular grape and make a particular wine, but then a winemaker can also go, I want 22% of this and I want 18% of that. And I want some, and that's their world's first, So like, to me, it was
Hmm.
really analogous when you were describing, what you were just describing is the closest I've heard of somebody approaching it in that sort of blind tasting kind of methodology,
I feel like it
that
would
way. I
also
think
be
that's cool.
analogous. I feel like it could also be analogous to like scent making, like people who create perfumes and things like that.
Exactly. Exactly. One of the exercises that we used to do without actually any wine is, how would you describe something if you can't use the word? So like cantaloupe. How would you
Right.
describe what cantaloupe tastes like if you can't say cantaloupe?
Cantaloupe.
And
Yep.
and I won't bore everybody with the exercise, but describing ball pythons and quantifying them that way, I think is important. And I think that it is, I think it's a skill that might fade some with testing. And I don't think that's a good or a bad thing. I just think it is.
I find that to be a bad thing. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest because I feel like for myself, like I don't I don't really want to have to test for incomplete dominance unless it's like a super stacked animal or maybe a monsoon animal or something really heavy pattern disruption. But I really do feel like that being able to identify the genetics that you're working with is very important, not only because like shed testing is very helpful, especially for hets,
Mhm.
but like at the end of the day, like you should be able to identify like what you're buying, because like if you look online and somebody says this is a sandal flip-flop, shoelace, and you're like, yeah, and you buy it, and then you're mad because you shed tested and it's not, and sorry, it says online, we do the best we can IDing the snake, then what? Or you don't test it and you believe them, and then you're selling everybody else who doesn't know how to ID stuff the wrong crap. And then I don't know. That to me, that's a nightmare. That's nightmare fuel.
I I agree with your argument there, and I think it's a very good point. I also think from a selection and breeding standpoint, it's very important too, because knowing something is in there, but valuing it be there because of the aesthetic or the results or the quality of the trait. Now, quality is of course a subjective word, but
Right.
in that eye of that beholder, what they appreciate and what they're going to be passionate about, seeing it as and identifying it is way better than just seeing the letters on a piece of paper or an email come through or whatever.
Right,
And
right. Because yeah, if you're red stripe, if you like literally can't ID your red stripe in a two gene combo, is it really worth still breeding that line?
right, exactly.
Is that what you wanna continue? Do you wanna continue with that specific thing, or do you wanna try with something that's got a better expression, you know? Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And obviously, I mean, I work closely with Phenome, which was shedtesting.com. So I'm on
Mhm.
board, but I think that there is value and a balance to it's still like I say, that value of the initial thing that got us all excited. None of us got excited about ball pythons because of something like shed testing or even genetics. We got excited about it because of what we saw. And then we said,
Right.
how the hell does that happen? And we learned about genetics, and then we learned about the other stuff. So I think losing sight of that is a danger for people that I worry a little bit about. I hear people that say, "Oh, I bought this such and such animal, boom, 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 and all of that," and they're like, "Wait, let me check the notes and see what else is there." And I'm like, "That's one thing. The other, if anyway, you get what I'm saying." I think I do
No, I
think that
agree.
I think people
Yeah,
can get sold
there's
on
a
the word.
happy medium. Yeah, there's a happy medium, I think. Like I also believe in shed testing, and I'm thankful that it's around. I wish that Tri-Stripe was available. If anybody's listening that wants to work harder on that, that'd be great. But
I could pass on. I could pass on the note. I have got a little email
um,
thread that I got to get to later.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I do appreciate shed testing, and I do feel like it's valuable. But additionally, like if you're running a clutch and they're all het clown, do you really want to spend $40 an animal to test to see if it has red stripe in it? And if you do, are you going to be able to get that back?
Yeah, they're
Probably not.
the that's true. That's true.
You
Yeah,
tried to argue it, but it didn't work.
no. Well, and again, I'm laughing because of empathy, where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
what to what point? So, like, if it's to ensure that you're being certain of what you're breeding, you probably get it back at least in the next
Yeah.
generation.
But if you're
If
just
it's
selling that baby,
Yeah, if you're just selling the baby, just list what you know and you can stand behind and go, maybe there's more, or maybe this is the best looking version of this combo you've ever seen, and that will get you more than your $40, I think.
or you sell somebody that something that has yellow belly in it and they make ivories and they're pissed. One or the other.
Well, people should be responsible with yellow belly. I actually I did tell somebody today. I said, I can't remember if what you said had yellow belly in it, but if so, you don't want this animal just because of that. Exactly. I literally
That's what
today
I'm
had that
saying.
conversation.
Or fire. That's what I'm saying. So like that's where the value comes in, I feel like, and being able to identify like if it's just from a straight, like even if you're just like it's a straight value standpoint, like do you want to have to test for something that you could ID with your eyeballs because you don't want to put in the time to figure it out?
And that does take time and practice and
Mhm.
learning,
Yeah.
and focus. It
Mhm.
takes focus. It is a craft to be honed and to work on. I
Agreed.
agree with that. Yeah.
Agreed. Yep.
Um, I had a couple thoughts. One being when you brought up red stripe, but it could be any gene. A
Mhm.
really well-known breeder that has been a great help and mentor to me. I was checking out his collection one day, and he says, "So and so test company." Um, we'll just leave it at so and so. I wouldn't disparage one. Said this doesn't have red stripe in it, and he looks right at me and he goes, "I respectfully disagree because for the past 25 years, I know what I'm looking at." Now, it could have been the wrong shed. It could have been a different line. It could be all
Red
sorts
Stripe
of
has
things.
multiple lines. Yeah,
Right.
there's all kinds of things that are faltering with the shed testing. I mean, think about the stuff that came back with the lace stuff where it was a GHI lace and it got tested as a super lace. You know,
Mm.
like both companies are coming up with things that are incorrect, and that's not specific that they are doing anything wrong or they're learning. Science is learning, and because we with our eyeballs said that red stripe looks like this and that looks like red stripe and that looks like red stripe and that looks like red stripe doesn't mean that they're all going to genetically test the same.
Very good. I think you said something so important. Science is learning and evolving. Everybody wants
Mhm.
science to be perfect, but actually
It's not.
the scientific method is about not being perfect and about exploring variations and potential outcomes. So I think that's wildly important that people have to remember that.
Yeah, it's valuable that science will say when it's wrong, and science will then try to find the new best answer. And that's all that we can do when it comes to anything when it comes to science. I mean, think about just like medical care, like
Mhm.
like
Right.
anything that's like anything that is science based, like it's going to falter because we fail at the margins of our experience. And that failure can either become like something where we're pointing fingers and that was a failure, or we can say, oh, well, what did we learn from this and how do we move on and do better?
Agreed. Agreed. And for anybody to get lost in any of that, what I'm saying is science does work, but it works because we learn from the mistakes that we discover through science. And that's why we go down
100%.
that
Yeah,
path. Yeah.
100%. Mhm.
Um,
100%.
before I lose this train of thought, William
Mhm.
at TJW, I'm not even going to be, I'm going to massacre this. I don't even know how to pronounce this. He wants to know if this species that you have is pure. He says, are
Prague
your
shy.
Prague shy, are they pure?
Prague shy. I do have pure Prague shy, but the Prague shy that I have that are closer to breeding age are a 75% male and a 50% female.
There we go. And for dummies like me, what are Prague shy?
That's the dwarf Burms.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Now I
So
know.
yeah, dwarf Burmese are actually a subspecies, um, and so there's not a lot of pure dwarf Burms here in the states. So a lot of them have been outcrossed to mainland Burms. So there's a lot of percentage stuff, which honestly is a good thing that they've been outcrossed because it's made them stronger than they would be if we would have just kept on doing dwarf, dwarf,
Mm,
dwarf. We're running into some of the same problems with the Eastern Indigos where there's only so much available captive bloodlines, and the inbreeding has gotten so bad that that like there's starting to be like deformities like split scales in the ventrals and things like that with the captive indigos.
do you? That's an interesting topic to me because it weighs conservation from two different angles. One,
Hmm.
we can't we can't populate a captive bred population, in this case the eastern indigos, without new native populations, and we can't preserve the native populations unless we breed in captivity because of the nature of human destruction. It's just
Hmm.
this is quandary that spins me around on this. Do you think that we'll ever reach that point with ball pythons, or do we have a big enough captive bred
I think
population?
we've imported ball pythons for so many years and we're continuing to import them. I feel like they were good enough on that. I know that there is a supposed to be like a registry at some point where we'll be actually be able to see the coefficients. You know what coefficient is?
No, I mean I know I
Okay.
understand the math term, but I don't
Yeah,
understand how it
so
applies
it's
to.
like an inbreeding coefficient, meaning like what's the interrelated list of these bloodlines. We'll be able to see those supposedly at some point. I don't know if it's as important. It's definitely important for the Eastern Indigos. I actually was trying to talk to somebody that's in the conservation of the Eastern Indigos. They have a bunch of indigos that were illegal that were confiscated, and they have them in their care at the conservation society, um, and was trying to find a way to possibly do semen collection and for artificial insemination of captive populations that are outside of their animals because they have about 100 of them, which are
Hmm,
not related to our current stuff because they got them from like poachers and things like that.
right. When you talk about that development of the coefficients, is that something? Talk a little bit more about that. What would that development look like? Is that like a blood test version of kind of the DNA stuff that we're doing now, or is it a
It would
handwritten?
be
I
it
mean,
would
is
be
it
a
a
it would be it would be a DNA test. Yeah. So it would
yeah,
be a
yeah.
DNA test and that would show interrelatedness of animals. Yeah.
And when you were talking about that, were you speaking of that in terms of ball pythons or in terms of eastern indigos?
Both.
Both, both. Okay. Does one exist yet or not?
Eastern indigos did exist, and now it no longer exists. The people that were doing it could no longer do the testing. It wasn't the best testing. The markers weren't like super robust or diverse for that matter. But there are things that where people are in the works of trying to do both.
Excellent. This is another one of these like tip of the iceberg moments. Like there's so much information and potential possibility in our world. I love times when we think we've accomplished so much and then we're like, there's nothing but opportunity in front of us, and that's another great example of that with that initiative. I need to take a moment and pay a couple bills.
Okay.
And then when I come
Roger
back,
that.
I thought of what I tried to remember earlier that I couldn't remember.
Perfect. Okay, I'm ready.
I wrote it down right there, and I'm going to tell you about it. And I want to ask you about it when
okay,
we come
sounds
back.
good.
Guys, check out Redline shipping. I choose Redline shipping. Get the focus. There it is. Look,
there it is. You got it.
If you can use any kind of customer support, guidance, the knowledge that comes with a team of reptile keepers that are caring about their animals and want to make sure that your animals get from point A to point B safely, I use Redline Shipping. So check it out. The user interface is great at redlineshipping.com. Use the promo code PROPER5. Get yourself $5 off of your next shipping label. As we've been talking about, Phenome is what shedtesting.com has evolved into. Phenome is a reptile genetics company. They just released at Tinley this year sex tests for blue tongue skinks. I don't work with blue tongue skinks, but as I come to understand, a sex test would be very important to those that do. That's now available through Phenome, as well as over 40 different ball python shed tests. And they do have the ball python sex test now as well. So you can go to phenome.com or shedtesting.com, but I will tell you, shedtesting.com will fade into the distance. Phenome.com will be the name that you hear in the future. Stay tuned. I'll always have up-to-date details from them. You'll see more and more over in the near future on segments and information coming from Phenome, and that'll be here on Proper Royals. Of course, Sundog Serpents, that's Sarah and Josh down in Orlando. I used to vend with them in Florida. They vended with me. I have some animals of theirs. We were talking about monsoon projects earlier. I'm working on a clown monsoon project with them as we speak. So I have some of their animals. They have some of mine. What I'm telling you is that I trust them and I think that they're very good people. Let me tell you a little bit about what they've got available right now. They've got some visual zebras and TSK axanthic zebra ingredients if you're interested in that, if that's up your alley. Stranger hypo clown combos, TSK clowns, as well as hypo ultramel pied project ingredients, and that is Sundog Serpents. Reagan Renee Royal Pythons, Reagan Renee Royal RRRP, Reagan Renee Royal Pythons. If you go to reaganrenee.com, you don't have to type Royal Pythons after reaganrenee.com. That is Charlie Ryan out in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. All of his inventory is on reaganrenee.com. If you buy through his website, he's going to take care of shipping for you. Everything ships free when you buy through his website. He's going to give you a discount if you use the promo code PROPER10. Get yourself 10% off of anything on his website. And then he's doing some cool innovations with analytics and metrics that he uses in his professional career of analytics and metrics. There's a couple twists on calculators on there. Financial outcome potentials. Now you have to enter your own financial information. So he's not going to tell you what something's worth. But if you have a value you want to attach to something, he'll give you a range of possibilities when you tie in genetic odds and so forth, as well as something we were talking about earlier, the potential ROI of testing or not testing a particular animal or clutch as well. So interesting calculators, worth checking out, all free, all a value add there at reaganrenee.com. Keeper Kane is a channel on YouTube. When you get a chance, go check out Keeper Kane. That is Kane and Michelle Fritz Wallace down in Tennessee, and they document all of their animal adventures on their YouTube channel. They are ball python breeders that you probably come across in a group chat or a Patreon somewhere in our community, but they also keep big snakes. I believe it's either Burmese or retics. I think they got Burmese, aquatics, tarantulas, and now the new rodent facility that's under construction as well. Please go check them out. Love for you to give them some support. Their YouTube channel is always family friendly and safe for anybody that wants to watch it. Last but not least is Chris at BNS Reptilia. That's Chris Shelley. He events with me at Tinley in October, business partner there. We are working the Rainbow Clown Project together as well. We own a couple animals together there. He is Reptilia because along with ball pythons, he works with blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, Pituophis, the bull snakes, the pine snakes, and he's got the information and the legalities of owning it, where you owning those animals, where you are at, if you'll need permits. He'll have all that information to make sure that you can safely and legally own any of the animals that you'd like to purchase from him. So please check out Chris at BNS Reptilia. Last but not least, Proper Royals live content is coming to you ad-free. You didn't have to watch a commercial to join. If you're watching the replay, you haven't been interrupted, not even once, by commercials. I mean, other than my pitches. That's because of Palm Street. If you like live selling and you're interested in the future of live selling platforms, please check out Palm Street. Reptile sales are welcomed there. Reptile sellers are vetted there. All the shipping is integrated. If you are enjoying the live selling experience, go check out Palm Street. They've been strong supporters of our industry. So all of these brands are from our community, supporting our community, and literally keep me coming back every Tuesday night, coming up on 5 years now. And audience, you guys do the same. Hanging out tonight with Tommy Gil from Inky Clouds. And if you haven't watched from the beginning, you should. We have covered a lot of ground tonight, and I've enjoyed our conversation thoroughly. We're going to keep it going for another segment here. And thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Tommy, thanks for your patience also.
Yeah, no problem.
You mentioned earlier, and I couldn't remember the second gene, but that you were working calico into monsoon.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two wildly pattern changing genes. What are you hoping? Have you seen one? We haven't seen the result of that yet, have we?
We've seen a calico monsoon, but not with other incomplete dominance in it, I don't believe. I think, or if anything, it's been calico. That's a lie. We've seen calico stranger monsoon, which stranger really overpowers monsoon and turns it mostly brown.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen Mojave calico monsoon, and Mojave, like even without monsoon, as we know, knocks down calico a decent bit too, and kind of almost turns it into just kind of like a blur at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping to bring it where the calico like comes up the side and like breaks into the monsoon a little bit more. It is visible in those combos though.
Yeah. Where do you want to, and can we revisit that part? What more, there was more to it. I just can't remember what the more to it was. Calico monsoon. What else were you excited about working into that?
Blackhead, Inky, Orange Stream, calico monsoon.
Do you think Blackhead will have the darkening effect like you were mentioning with Stranger on?
I'm hoping it does, but not the same. It won't have the same effect as Stranger. Stranger, I don't think so. I think it'll darken it, but I don't think it will turn it into like a Suma.
Yeah, it won't lose the pattern contrast, sort of. Not, I don't want to call it spots, but
I don't think it will. The SLI essentially, yeah. I don't think it will, but I mean, I could be 100% wrong. We won't know until I see it. I have a few pairings that could make a visual this year, so we'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck on that. What?
Thanks.
I think that was striking to me. Yeah, I'm trying to envision, like you say, kind of the flame and the orange and the pink of the calico coming up the sides, and even the white and some flecking in there, and then just the monsoon on top of it.
Yeah,
I think
it'll be great. I really want a really dark monsoon with white that like comes and like almost like turns into like a starry night across the sides.
Mm, yeah, I do too. I hope that you get there. I
I
hope
do
that you.
too. I really want that. I want that. I think it would be so beautiful. But, I mean, since we don't even know what the base form looks like, I don't even know. I'm just like making crap up as I go along and just hoping that I'm making the right decisions.
Um, yeah. What? How do you sort of balance that, or how? I mean, obviously it's not a problem, so you get over it. But how do you talk yourself through? Hey, let's spend a couple years on this. We don't know what it's going to be, and these are some overpowering genes. These might not play well together. What do you say to that,
Uh,
or to that voice
I,
in the
I,
head?
I don't have that voice.
That's a good one. That's a good.
I
But
don't. I don't. I'm just excited. So my brain goes, "Ooh, it could do this," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And if it looks like a turd, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I mean, I'll just figure out how to make it look better. I mean, the great thing is when we make a wrong turn in this hobby, it's not a dead end. We can try something else,
there's
just
always
like
something on.
science.
Yeah, put something else on top of it, huh?
100%.
Very nice. Where do people find you? Do you get out and vend? Do you stay
I do
mostly
not
on?
vend.
You don't vend. Okay. Where do people find you? How do they interact with you?
Generally, people interact with me on Instagram, through my Instagram. I'm in some Instagram chats. I'm in a few of the Discords too, mostly free Discords. So I'm in there. I get in voice chats in there, give everybody hell every once in a while. And
What? Where do you sell? Do you generally sell through those chats and those
Morph
relationships and those
Market. I have a
communities?
Morph Market. I have a Morph Market. I don't list stuff there generally. I mean, I do, but most of the time, by the time I list something on Morph Market, I'm putting it on auction. I do sell through the chats. I do sell through Instagram. I do sell very minimally stuff locally. Um, but yeah, I'm really terrible at Morph Market. People will contact me most of the time and they'll be like, "Hey, I saw something or other." Or they'll be like, "Hey, somebody sent me your way." And they're like, what do you have?" And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want? Like, what do you like? And then like if you give me like one or two things, I'll give you like 15 options. But like, I don't know. I prefer selling like that. I prefer like trying to help somebody find something versus like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I like that interaction.
Do you find that like the chat groups and the discords that um I mean, obviously it builds community. That's the definition of community. There's a place where the similar minded people hang out. But do you find that like certain plans get made or seeds get planted ahead of time as you're talking about projects and that sort of thing? Or is it hey, I hit this guys and I'm giving you first dibs, or how do you find those sales happen on those groups
Ugh,
for people that aren't
That's
involved
a
in those?
sometimes I'll send a picture or something and I'll be like, "Hey, this is available." Sometimes people will be like, "Hey, I heard you're doing this project," or like, in the chat you said you have this. Just like the prog shy question that person had. I've never talked to that person directly about it. So either they heard from when I was just talking about it at the beginning of this show, but I've gotten other people that have hit me up on Instagram that, saw a picture of it or, you know, um, a lot of times that's the way things happen. There's no one way that it happens, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just I do talk about my projects a good bit because I really enjoy talking shop. So I do talk about a lot of the stuff that I'm doing or a lot of the stuff that I'm making and you know I think that that's the way a lot of it happens. Like I said, I do put stuff on Morph Market but I think right now I have one thing on there and it's on auction. But I mean, it's not like I have one thing available. I have other stuff available, but I just haven't listed it.
I was going to say there wasn't much there for me on show prep on
Yeah, there's not a thread to pick up. I'm sorry.
But I thought I got myself together pretty well for tonight. I thought it came out all right.
Yeah. I just not on the morph market.
Well, Tommy, thank you so much for hanging out tonight.
Hey, no
I hope
problem.
that you'll come back in the future. I really did enjoy it,
For
and I
sure.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
I would like to keep in touch with you a little bit too. I think
For sure. Yeah.
I think there's a lot to learn, and I think honesty is important. And I appreciate how honest you were tonight, and forthright and forthcoming and fun and all of that as well. So, plus I want to see your cool shit. That's all. That's the other thing I want to keep up with.
Yeah, you can see it.
Well, cool. Well, thank you very much for being here. Did I leave anything out? Like, is there like a elevator pitch you want to make to the crowd or anything? Or
I am so awful at, like, literally I'm awful at selling crap. Like I'm not a salesperson. I had a job as a telemarketer for like a week and a half, and it was for credit cards, and I was like 16, so I'm like, oh, everybody wants a credit card, this is awesome, this is gonna be so easy, and nobody wanted them, and I didn't understand it, and then they put me on children's books, so that's how good I did, and then I quit. So that's my elevator pitch. If you want some crap, talk to me. If you want to if you're interested in some of the types of projects I'm working in, and you're like, maybe I might have something you want, send me a message. If not, I just like enjoy talking about the projects. Like, chat with me, and like maybe one day I'll have something you want, maybe I won't, but we can still talk.
Come hang out with Tommy, guys. If you ever want to know how to end up a serial entrepreneur, go work for a telemarketing company when you're 16, and you will chase other dreams. Mark my words.
100%.
Tommy, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back same time, same place next week. Go check out Inky Clouds on Instagram and drop her a line. Okay. Tommy, hang out just a second. All right.
Okay, will do.
All right.